Hello and welcome, everybody. It is Coach Action Jackson, and I'm here with another episode of Client Success Stories. I have my man Lawrence here, and Lawrence, he absolutely destroyed the program, got amazing results, and I'm very excited to share with you. He lost 14 pounds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but here's the kicker. He lost 5% body fat, getting right down to that 9, maybe 10% level, and clear, insane, visible six-pack abs. Oh, he also lost about 3 inches off his waist. Almost forgot. Lawrence, welcome. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, Jackson, thank you so much for this call. My name is Lawrence Leff. I will be 52 years old in March. I'm from the New York area. This program was fantastic for me. Jackson had to go through a lot of my doubts and doubting myself and being extremely hard on myself, but it kept me, on track the whole way. At the end of the day, I think while I'm very hard on myself and I always strive for more, the results, kind of speak for themselves. And I feel like I kind of look like a different person. So I was pretty happy with the results.
Now, I absolutely love Lawrence. He's because he's a lot like me, which is he's a high achiever, he's a high performer, and he is pretty hard on himself. So we had a lot of work to do on the mental and the mindset aspects, but the physical aspects are incredible. He does look like a different person. The before and after images, I mean, it's like night and day. He posted them in our community, and everyone was like, "Holy cow, this guy's a rock star." I mean, everybody in the group is wishing they look like the after photo this guy has. And I've just been trying to help him with his mindset around really acknowledging that and not moving the goalposts on himself so much. So let's dive in, though. We'll get to the mindset stuff. We'll get to all of that good stuff. Why don't you take me back to where were you at before you joined the program? Physically,
Yeah.
you obviously know roughly where you were, but what was that like mentally, and kind of just talk me through it?
Yeah, sure. So I kind of played with fitness, I would say all my life. Like since I was 14, 15 years old, I was always into working out, I should say. I did it at home. Sometimes I went to the gym. But I always did some kind of working out my whole life. Then probably in my 40s, my early 40s, I would say I was probably in the best shape that I was in a really long time. Like I had, probably a six pack. I was always I'm a smaller guy. Like I'm 5'8.5". I add that half inch because it's important. 5'8.5", around the 150 mark. And I've always been around that my whole life. So that hasn't really fluctuated all that much. And then, came COVID and, being home all the time. And, I started working remotely. And things changed for me where I got up to about 160. And, for a smaller guy with a smaller frame, that showed quite a bit. And, and then all of a sudden I saw advertisements for Tonal. And I was like, wow. And I've always played with, different types of workouts. I've done, you name it, the fitness program that's out there, I've done it. And, from like 45 to like 50, 51, nothing really changed. I kind of looked the same. And like I said, COVID hit and I took a turn for the worse. And I was like, couldn't get out of that rut. I always maintained a workout, but, my nutrition was never up to par. And I guess when you're younger, I guess it matters a little bit less. As you get older, when you're not following solid nutrition, it shows, and it shows rather quickly. So that's kind of where I was at. And then, like I said, I saw advertisement for Tonal. I was like, this is it. This is the silver bullet. I'm going to get Tonal and I'm going to be great. So I did. I got the Tonal machine and I fell in love with it. And, I took a couple of your programs. I took a couple of other coaches' programs. And I would say before I hooked up with you, I probably was on Tonal for 25 weeks or so. And when I got it, I said, this is the answer. I am going to do Tonal. I'm going to look fantastic. So I consistently did the Tonal programs without stopping. I went from program to program. After I completed one, I went right into the next. I think I did 3 of your programs. And then I look in the mirror. I'm like, crap, I look the same. Like, what is going on? Like, I have consistently worked out and I look the same. And I mean, worked out hard. Like those programs on Tonal are tough. And I didn't get the results. And then I think I saw on Facebook or something, I saw your coaching program. I was like, you know what? I feel like I know him from taking his classes on Tonal. So let me connect with him, which we did. And then from the first time we spoke, I saw your program and you gave me a rundown of what it would be. And I said, that's what I need. I need that structure. I need that guidance. I need something to follow where I'm going to get, the biggest piece of this puzzle, which was the nutrition for me, as you know, we spoke several times. And then, I quickly learned out that was really the missing key for me is the nutrition. Like we work out till you blue in the face. If you're not doing it nutritionally, matching your physical, workout goals with the nutrition, it's not going to do anything. And that's what I found out. And that's what I learned real quickly. After literally the first month, like I saw amazing changes after that first month. I don't want to get too far ahead, so I'll stop there and let you ask the next question.
Wow, incredible. So you've always been very sort of fitness forward, a little bit of fanatical in fitness. You're working out. And then for like 5, 6 years, it sounds like in your late 40s into your early 50s,
Yeah.
despite working out tremendously, getting tonal, doing all the workouts, no changes, none. That's got to
Yeah.
be incredibly frustrating. How
Very.
did you keep going and keep staying with it when you weren't
Yeah.
seeing the results?
Yeah, great question. I think what that comes down to, and this is probably not going to be the best answer. I think I'm vain. Like I care about physical, like I care about what I look like, and I
Yeah.
want to be healthy, right? I always contributed healthy with as long as I'm working out, I'm healthy. But that was not the case because I was eating whatever I wanted. You know what I mean? And that just doesn't bode well for healthy. And that's really why I stayed in it because I always said to myself, I'm not going to stop working out because if I eat whatever I want and don't work out, who knows what I'll look like. So I kind of said, justified it. I could eat whatever I want as long as I'm working out, it's good. And that's when I finally learned. Maybe in my 30s that worked, to some degree, where you could stay in decent shape. But I quickly learned that that was not the case. And like I said, when I got the tonal and I committed to working out for, 4 or 5 months straight and didn't see the results, I said something's got to change. I have to figure something out. And that's when we met.
Yeah, I think that's a very common theme is that especially like a lot of the men I work with when they're in their 20s, they could, not drink so much beer and just work out for like 2 weeks, maybe a month. And it's like they dial everything right back in. And then you get into your 30s and all of a sudden it's like, wait, that strategy doesn't work anymore. I
Yeah.
actually really have to figure out this nutritional piece because it's a massive piece. We talk about the 4 pillars of six-pack success. It's training, it's nutrition, it's mindset, and it's accountability. But the nutrition makes up like 60, maybe 70% of that. It's a huge piece of it. Now, I don't think you can get the results without any of them, but nutrition is a massive piece. And if you don't have that right, it ain't going to work. It's
Yep.
not going to work at all. So what was I guess, was there a trigger? You obviously saw that I coaching, but did you know the whole time that nutrition was the problem, or you didn't realize it until maybe you saw some content that I posted? Like, when did that
Yeah.
occur to you?
It's a great question. You know what? I think subconsciously I probably knew all along that nutrition is a big part of the equation because like I said, I've played with and I've been, working out for all my life. And I remember people coming to me and be like, God, I can't get results in my nutrition, as I'm eating chicken parm, right? So like I always knew, but for some reason it just didn't click. Like I don't know what the answer is, but I knew but it didn't click. Like I would like eat good like 2 or 3 days, be like, that's pretty good, right? And then I would have 2 or 3 days of, a pizza, a chocolate cake, and an ice cream sundae. And then I have 2 days of good eating, at least what I thought was good eating. So I always thought I was like balancing. And I was like, that's got to be enough. But deep down, I think I probably knew. And then, looking at your program, talking to you, and just researching, and hearing, you talk on Tonal when, during the workouts in your programs, you do a lot of talking, and a lot of that is around, nutrition and not just the workout, but the science behind the workouts, the science behind nutrition. And I was like, you know what? It's obviously I'm not doing something right. And I just needed that structure. I needed that something to follow. And your guide with your quick cheat guide on, not cheat guide, the sheet that shows what you can eat and
Yep.
sets up meal plans and like here's an example of what you eat in a day. Like I literally that was the win for me because I followed that to a T And like I said, literally the first couple of weeks, like I look at my progress photos, I would say week one, and I religiously took pictures every single Monday. So that was like my morning ritual. My wife hated it because at first, I would make her take the pictures until I realized I could set it up on like a stand and do it myself. And then every Monday she's getting ready for work, and I'm like, "You got to take a picture. You got to do pictures." And I saw results like in the first 2 weeks, and I said, clearly it's nutrition because the workouts I was doing, but I'll say your workouts too were very very challenging. Like it was they were difficult. They were difficult, and they kicked my butt. And I remember like going in the first couple days, like, wow, I don't know if I could do this for 4 months. Like this is insane. And then it just became very routine for me. Like it just, I'm not gonna lie and say, oh, I look forward to the workout. I'm not quite there yet, but I always went down there with the mentality of, you know, got to do it, and that's it. You got to take pictures, you got to report your results, and that's it. And that's what got me to keep going and, you know, get through the workouts, which were tough. They were very tough, for sure.
I think, Lawrence, that you're an incredible example of number one, don't give up. Number two, you can do it even in your 50s, which a lot of people think, oh, I'm 30, I can't do this. I'm 40, I can't do this. You're 50 and beyond, and you've made this massive change. And the other thing is that it's never too late to start to level up. And sometimes you don't know what level you need to be on until you meet somebody or do coaching program or something that shows you what this new level is. I like to always joke, and I talk about this, that I grew up on the south side of Chicago. Like growing up on the south side of Chicago, very blue collar. Like to me, success was driving a BMW and like having a nice apartment that overlooked the Chicago River. And then moving out to California and meeting my wife, and now I live in Newport Beach, and you see all this like just stuff that I never could have imagined. And I talk about my life is so good now where I live. It's so beautiful. The people I meet, like the cars around here, the houses. I didn't know this stuff could even exist until my wife showed me like this area of the country. Well, for you, it was like, I didn't know that this level could exist for me, especially in my 50s, until I was taken through it. And then you learn the intensity that you need to bring to the workouts. You learn what good eating really truly is. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you level up your life in a manner that now starts to really bleed into all these other things, and hopefully a little bit into here as well.
Yeah.
So talk me through like what were some of the changes as you're going through this? Yes, the workouts are hard, the diet, like all this stuff, but it had to have gotten easier at some point. And what were some of the breakthroughs and the wins if you saw some in other areas?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you remember, I said to you several times, my biggest fear is the nutrition part. Can I stick to it? Because, I like to eat. I like cheat meals. I'm a chocoholic. Like I have to have my chocolate and my sweets. Like I'm definitely a sugar fiend. So it's like I don't know if I could do it. So when I started the program, I said I am 100% committed to doing this. Like I didn't miss a single workout. I didn't miss a single rep. And I stuck to nutrition. I'm going to say 99% because I did the first month 100%. Like I didn't have a single cheat. I did everything by the book. In fact, I was so like I didn't want to veer. I used your example as what a typical day is. I substituted a couple of foods because I didn't, want to have everything that was on there. Some things I didn't like. And the first week, honestly, Jackson, like I don't know how it just became routine. Like it something just I just didn't even think about cheating. It wasn't even a thought. Like I thought I was going to have these major cravings and I wasn't going to be able to do it. And I didn't go out and throw everything out in the cupboard. Like I know that was part of your program was like go through and throw out. I'm like I have willpower. I could do this. And plus I have a wife who sometimes likes to have those things. So I was like, well, I'll leave it there. I didn't ever go to them. I didn't cheat. So really for me, I think it was just being committed to something that I invested in. And, listen, I paid money to do this. You set up all this customized stuff. I said, there's no way I'm veering off of it. I said I'm going to do it, so I'm going to do it. And then the most surprising thing for me was how I don't want to say easy, how not difficult it was to stick to the nutrition. Like I thought it was going to be so hard. And then after the first week, I was like, yeah, I mean, I could do this. Like, and then along the way, I found some foods that I could eat that I actually enjoy. Like the first week, I'm going to say like I didn't enjoy eating, but then in fact, one of them was one of the ones you gave me, that Kodiak protein oatmeal mixed with chocolate protein powder. To this day, still, it's my every single morning breakfast. And I actually enjoy it. I look forward to it. So like I found things like that that were little things that were, I was able to look forward to during the day. So eating became, not so much just a mechanism for an end result, but I started to enjoy things as well. And then I found things along the way that I enjoyed eating that, I know how to look at macros now. I know, how to look at ingredients and you had a lot of those, going to Costco videos and showed what you did at Costco and shopping and the supermarket. And it just, they all helped. Like you had so many resources that if someone has a question, I mean, almost too many resources. I'm like, well, I don't know where to click first to go find out some information. Like it was really an abundance of information. And as long as you sat down and looked at it and read it and looked at you different links and you made it very easy. Like, and that's what I think drove me to this program was I'm very structural. I need to follow something. And you made it so easy to follow because the way you lay out the program, all of the information at your fingertips, like literally whether it's on my phone or my computer, most of the time it was on my phone, the app that you give for the workouts, the links in the app that says, here's what you do if you don't know how to do an exercise, like everything was right there. So if you didn't know something, it's a click away. And I think all those things is what drove me to say, you know what, just keep going. This guy obviously knows what he's talking about. I mean, look at him, right? He's a physical specimen. So why wouldn't you follow someone who is in this industry for as long as he's in and looks the way he looks? And that's what drove me to just keep going. And like I said, it became so much easier after the first week, the nutrition part, and I kept going. Yeah.
That's amazing. I think a lot of people think that somebody like yourself, or they look at me and they think, well, you must have just extraordinary discipline and willpower. You must be like a Navy SEAL. And it's not that. It's just that we stick to it for a period of time and then you get stronger and you get better and things get quote unquote easier. And that's a really important thing to recognize, is that it gets easier because you get stronger and you build your skills and you get better at these things. And you can find things, whether it's foods, especially with foods, you can find foods that you're going to like, that are going to be very palatable, that are going to taste amazing, that are going to scratch those itches for you. So instead of having to go and run out and eat a double from In-N-Out, it's like you can find things that are going to fit your macros and that are going to work, that you can eat, that feel like treats, that feel like you're not on a diet anymore. And there's been so many clients. Robin, one of our star clients, lost 101 pounds in 11 months. She was making quesadillas and all kinds of stuff. And you're like, is she on a diet? This is incredible. And the other thing is that we give people the flexibility to work in cheat meals if and when they want them. So you can still have those things and get your results as well. And I think that's the best balance that you could possibly have, is enjoying yourself when it's deserved and when you need it, but also crushing your goals and feeling amazing about that and really taking your life to the next level. Yeah. And in terms of, I guess, like the whole achievement and get better and go further, the one great thing about that is it causes you to achieve at an extraordinary level. Like that's made you such a high performer and such a high achiever that's fantastic. Have you been able to give yourself any grace, or have you found any way to give yourself that little bit of like dopamine hit of a high five to yourself at all? Or is that still something you're struggling with?
Yeah, no, I think I have. I think I have. Like, I'll like on picture day, right? When I take my pictures, I'll sit there and I'll get the camera just right, and I'll try to take my picture, and then when I take it, I'm like, that's not bad. Like, you look decent. So I think for me, that's me giving myself a high five, right? I'm never going to
Yeah.
be the guy that says, "Oh, damn, you look good." It's just not me. Like, I'm like, I look decent. Other than a couple months ago, I look in the mirror and be like, "Oh my God, you look terrible." Like, I can't even look in the mirror. So that's my high five. So I think I definitely have been able to give myself a little bit of credit. So yeah, I
That's
think I gave
that's
myself a
good.
little. Yeah,
Well, as we preach, progress, not perfection, right? And that sounds
right.
like progress to me.
Yeah,
So trust me, I've been there I've been in the exact same shoes where you're at, where I'm in Men's Health. My photos are there, and I'm like, I still got so much work to do. Like, I'm just not there yet because I'm looking at the people who are above me. And in one aspect, it's incredible for striving up. But I think in another aspect, sometimes that can be difficult because um, it could make you not appreciate the success that you've had. So one of the things that I've learned, luckily, in my 40 years on this earth is to take a look around every once in a while. It's like we're climbing Mount Everest, and we might not be at the summit yet, but like, hey, take a look over the edge there and just take a look at the view because it's pretty gorgeous up here. So that's one of the things that I've learned, and hopefully that's something you're getting a little better at doing yourself. Because Lawrence, I got to tell you, my friend, your after photos, most people, even people that are very successful in the program, would kill to have that physique, man. So you're doing something really, really well and really, really right. So
Well,
I just want to let you know that I appreciate you. I'm incredibly proud of you. And from that first early moment when I talked to you, I was like, man, I really want to help this guy because I know he has all the tools and he has what it takes. And I'm so proud of you that you executed. You did everything I asked of you, and you just absolutely crushed the program. You destroyed it. Your photos look amazing. I'm super proud of you. I'm very excited for the progress you've made. And I'm really, really just incredibly proud of you, man. Thank
thank
you.
you. I appreciate that. And like I said, you're it's back at you, right? Thank you for putting together a program like this because, like I said, it is so structured and it is so informative and like it's almost I think the biggest thing is you have to commit, right? So as long as you commit, you literally can't fail because you give all the tools, right? And that's what I've learned. Like what you've taught me too is like, you know, the nutrition part for me is tremendous. Like people ask me now, like, you on a diet? I'm like, no, I'm not on a diet. Like I just changed the way I eat, right? Because I'm not on a diet. I don't consider that. Like, I play with my macros now. Like if I want to try to, you know, put a little more muscle on, like we talked about in our last call, right? I'm just going to up my protein, up the calories a little bit. Um, so I don't like that has changed drastically for me. I still have my cheat meal every single Saturday night, right? I will still do that, and it includes dessert. So I definitely do that. I still indulge once a week, but that's it, right? The rest of the week, I don't do that. And your program taught me, basically how to look at the macros, what are the good foods to eat. You have a whole list of here's do's and don'ts, what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, which is all, for someone who struggles with that stuff, that was a tremendous help. So I think all those tools and all those things that you provided during the program, it's almost foolproof. Like it's all out there. Here's all the information in one nice, neat package. And that was the goal for me. The key for me is you put it all in a nice, neat package. Like I said before, everything's at your fingertips. So you almost can't go wrong as long as you commit to following it. And that's what I learned worked for me. And listen, I'm proof that if you stick to it, right, it'll work. And that's huge. And that's a huge thing. And so I'm thankful to you for putting the program together the way you did and being there whenever I needed you. Like, I know I wasn't very needy. I didn't often have questions. I didn't join a lot of the group coaching calls because I I was sticking to it, right? I didn't have many struggles like, oh, I fell off the wagon. I just said I'm sticking to it, and I did, and that was it. So, but when I did need you, you were very responsive and you were there, and I appreciate that.
Well, tell me, last quick question. So a lot of people struggle with that commitment. And you said you just got to commit. How did you make that commitment and make it so strong and just go for it? Because so many people struggle to get to the point where they do commit. And everybody that I talk to in these interviews like this, they get to that point where they are committed, they're in it. But it usually sometimes can take, and you mentioned yourself, it took you 6 years before you kind of recognize, oh wow, this nutrition piece is so big. What was the thing that got you to finally
Yeah.
commit and say,
Yep.
I'm doing this no matter what. I'm taking my life to the next level, even at 51.
Yeah. You know what I think it was? I think it was that your everything had to be reported, right? It's going to sound dumb, but like every week your to-do popped up that said put your numbers in, put your weight in, put your measurements in, put your pictures in. And I just kept thinking, oh crap, I got to report this stuff. Like he's going to see it. I don't even know if you saw it. Like I don't know if you looked every week, but I'm like, someone's going to see it, whether it's you or Michael. And I'm like, I'm not letting anybody down, like including myself, obviously, right? So I was like, I think that's what kept me going to like just stick to it. And then of course, I think I just reached a point, after a couple of years of seeing nothing, I got to change. Like something has to change. So I think it triggered. I hit a point. I was like, I got to do it, and that's it. No more messing around. And when I really commit to something, like I can commit to it. It's just getting over that hump. So I think the accountability factor of having everything in an app and reporting your stats and taking that picture, like knowing I was taking a believe it or not, knowing I had to take that picture on Monday, I would think about it during the week, and I would be like, you got to take a picture on Monday. Like, don't do that rep, or don't take a shortcut, or if I had a craving, don't do it. Wait for Saturday night. When cheat meals were allowed after the first month. I think all that stuff combined just kept me on the right track. And still to this day, like after the program, like I'm out, not long. I'm only out like 2 weeks, but I started back at phase one, and I forgot how hard those phase one workouts were. Oh my Lord, they're insane. They're harder than phase four. Like they're
Well,
insane.
it's set up that way on purpose because it's hard
Yeah,
in the first month when you have that
yeah,
big motivation wave typically, and you're
yeah,
really excited for everything and you want to get those wins. And then as we build momentum, we make things a little bit easier because
yeah.
that's when it needs to be easier.
Yeah, that kicked me in the ass today when I had a day four challenge, phase one, day four challenge. I was like, wait a minute, five sets, three exercises, then three exercises, four. Like, does it ever end? It just kept going. I was like, and that's all with no rest, which I do take rest. But so yeah, it was to this day I went back to phase one, and like we talked about, I'm sticking to the phase two nutrition portion, and yeah, I'm just gonna keep going and just do like another cycle and see where that lands me, and then go from there.
Well, it's incredible what we'll do for other people, even somebody like a coach or something, when we have that accountability. Making promises to ourselves, most people struggle with that, including myself. But making a promise to somebody else, wow, we could really usually follow through with those things.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I think it's a testament to that. But I'm super proud of you, Lawrence. You did a fantastic job. Again, your physique, your after photos are incredible. You've got a lot of people jealous in the Action Jackson Fitness client community, that's for sure. So I'm proud of you. I'm really excited for you, and I can't wait to see what you do next because I know you're going to keep doing great things, my friend.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it and everything that you did for me and the team. So thank you very much. And the community. It's a great community.